Greetings, fellow adultlings. Welcome back to Learn to Adult, the podcast guiding you to adulting better. My name is Abby, and this week I am here to deliver a public service announcement. And that PSA is back up your files. Okay, bye everybody, see you next week, yay! No, I'm kidding. But that really is the long and the short of it, is to back up and or save important things. So we're going to jump right into it, and the reason we're doing this podcast, personal anecdote time, Wednesday into Thursday, it rained a lot here, and our sump pump in our basement stopped really firing, and we had like a 1/4 inch of water throughout our entire basement. And unfortunately, we did have some boxes of things, and cardboard boxes rather, sitting on the floor, so some stuff got a little waterlogged. Luckily, we've been through this one other time, so we had a lot of plastic containers and a lot of things stored up. So we didn't lose a lot of things, but it definitely sparked me to think, I've been through this, and I know other people will go through this heartache, so I am here to help you and teach you what you should be doing proactively to make your future self much happier. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about, well, this one you probably got in school a lot, or you hear at work. I'm just going to reiterate that it's very important, is to back up your data and save things constantly. So if you're writing things or drawing things or recording things, like say a podcast that's going to change the entire landscape of podcasting history, save your things, because you want to make sure that all of this is saved forever. Okay, so things that you're going to want to kind of back up on your computer. Anything that you're working on with work, resumes, your tax documents, definitely anything creative that you've been doing. Say like if you're writing a great American novel, or you're recording your own music, you're making drawings, you're making videos, those things you want to have backed up. And yeah, personal things, definitely. Photos, videos, personal emails, and anything from your phone. Because how many pictures... If your phone right now got dropped in the toilet and you lost everything on that phone, how many of those pictures would you never get back? All right, so you want to make sure you're saving those things. And things that aren't important, movies and music, because those things can be replaced, because I guarantee you that Hollywood and the music industry has saved all of your music for you somewhere. That stuff can be replaced. Pictures of your cat looking awesome, those cannot be replaced. Okay, so when you say backup, what does that mean? I see a lot of people saying to back up and save your data, but without giving any context. Well, when you back something up, what you need to do is you need to have multiple copies shared in different locations, because you want to be able to, if your laptop took a dive right now, where would you be able to get all of your information again? Do you have, say, an external backup drive, or it's all saved to Google Drive, or, Dropbox? They need to be saved in different locations, and ideally you should have 3 copies. The original, the backup of the original, and the backup of the backup. Now this seems a little over-prepared, and it is, because when you lose documents like this, it will destroy you. If it's something really important and that cannot be replaced, losing it is tough. I've lost documents of things that I've written, and I'm never getting it back, and it breaks your heart. So you definitely want to save stuff like that, especially when they're important things, like work things. You want to save your work things, or tax things. If the IRS comes knocking on your door, and you don't have all your tax documents because you lost them in some sort of freak laptop explosion, they don't really care about that stuff. They still want their information. The IRS, not very lenient. Okay, so how do you want to save these things? Now, you can do something local, something that you can have in your hands, which is something I really like. I'm very old school. I like buttons, and I like to be able to hold things in my hand. So that would be an external hard drive. Get something, a lot of data storage right now, very cheap. Buy something big that you can keep putting data on for a long time. Now, you can do something even more old school and start putting things on CDs, or if you're really old school, floppy disks, I guess, but you're not going to get a lot of information put on those. But yeah, or a USB or a thumb drive. Just save what you can on anything that can be separated from your computer. But again, the reason you want to have 3 copies is if you have it saved on your computer and a thumb drive, Well, what if your computer goes bad and your thumb drive is plugged into that computer and it somehow corrupts the thumb drive? Okay, so now both of your copies are gone. But if you had it saved to, say, Dropbox, you still have a copy. So just in case, it's very rare that all three will go down at the same time. So you want to save in different places. So okay, so hard drives or thumb drives, make sure things are saved there. You could also do, like I've said before, Google Drive or Dropbox. I know there are 1,000 different places. I'm not going to give them a whole bunch of sponsorship, but there are some places that for a small fee, you can pay to have all of your things backed up for a long time. Take them or leave them, make sure you're reading your reviews. I don't personally use those. I am married to an IT geek, so we have a personal server, so I can save all of my data forever, and I don't really have to think about it. It's great. So either, marry an IT nerd or, pay a couple bucks to have a nice service for you. I mean, they really are. It's money that you will use later when something like this happens, because believe me, something bad will happen to your computer. It's just how computers are. They find your most vulnerable time, and that's when they decide to die. So, okay, so you've saved all those things, and I know you've probably heard this 1,000 times, and you're just rolling your eyes. Abby, we know. But here's some other things that maybe you won't think about. So you want to have all of your documents saved in sort of a central location. Now, there are 3 levels of this that you could do. One, you could just have them in a filing cabinet. Have all of your information just stored. It's all in one location, so if someone says, hey, where's your passport? You know where it is. You know where you can find it right away. That's not something you want to be scrambling to find, especially if you need to flee the country quickly. You need to know where your passport is. Now, you could go the step up from this and get a fireproof safe. Now, getting a fireproof safe seems kind of nuts when you're doing it, but if your house burns down and you still want your birth certificate, it's not completely insane. So you'd want to get yourself a fireproof safe, something big enough to hold, say, thumb drives with backed up data of important documents and photos. Also, you'd want to have all of that saved, have a good combination on it, have it shut and ready to go, but also have it, say, out of flood range if your basement is prone to flooding, or if your town is prone to flooding. But, do your research on those. They can be a little bit expensive, but again, they are protecting very important documents for you. Sometimes the money's worth it. But again, if you don't want to spend that kind of money, a filing cabinet, just fine. Now, if you don't like a filing cabinet or a fireproof safe and you want to have them saved in a location that is not your own house, you can save them in a bank deposit box. Now, if you go to, say, like your local credit union, you can sometimes get those with your account that you open. So if you go open a savings account to save all of your hard-earned adulted money, you could also get a safety deposit box. Now, you can save things in there that you're not going to need all of the time. Like, most of the time, you're not going to need to provide your birth certificate or social security card at the drop of a hat. So you could store them there. Again, you're going to be paying either a one-time or monthly fee to keep this going, but it's a way to keep it off-site. And, something so if you're worried constantly that your house is going to get burned down or robbed or something, you can have those in a different location that will be kept safe. Now, you could also keep other things like jewelry, but again, it's up to you. Now, what are you going to save in those boxes? In your filing cabinet, your safe, or your deposit box? Well, I mentioned a few. Your birth certificate, your social security card, tax documents, very important, your passport, any insurance information that you have, anything about cars, like if you have the title to your car, your house documents, like if you have the deed to your house, things like that, mortgage information, all of those should be saved in like a central location to make sure that you are not going to be bit in the little tushy if something goes wrong. So, guys, it's a short podcast this week because that's really the long and the short of it. I could tell you forever about saving documents and making sure to do this, but really, this is a gift to your future self. Because right now you're thinking, I don't know, I don't really want to file and save all my stuff. But future you, when all of your technology takes a crap for some reason, you want to make sure that you're protected from those things. Now, that's a very adult thing to do, is to make sure that you're setting up a safety net for yourself when you don't need to. So, save your documents. If you're working on a paper right now, save it while you're working on it, because no one wants to get 13 pages into a term paper and for your computer to go and for you to have to start over, because it's going to take a lot of time. Because first you're going to have to cry for 10 minutes and then you're going to have to start that paper again. So, Save your papers, save anything you're working on, especially your art. You can't recover and replace art that you've made. So guys, back up your stuff, save your data, make sure everything is compiled and organized, especially when it comes to those important documents. Organization, very key. If you're not an organized person and stuff is just strewn everywhere, at least have one central location that your important documents are saved. It's really one of the more important things you need to do. So that's it, guys. That's this week's podcast. Where can you find us? You can talk to me, learntoadult@gmail.com. Also on Twitter or Instagram @learntoadult. I did start a Pinterest page, so if you are a Pinterest type, you can go to Pinterest, Learn to Adult Podcast. You can also go to the website proper, learntoadult.com. I will post this podcast. I will also post the links to iTunes. You can find the links to all of the social media sites, including the Pinterest and the YouTube pages. Because I do post these on YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube, hi, please like and subscribe. Thanks. And if you're feeling generous, please rate and review this podcast. Again, it helps me get out to the millions of people who are needing desperate help to learn to adult. All right, so I'll talk to you guys next week. I hope you guys are having a good January. I'll see you later.